like I said, we still need to graduate to the fact that जिस फ्लैट में मैं रह रहा हूँ वो मेरा है, लेकिन इसके अराउंड जो कंपाउंड है, जो बिल्डिंग है, जो सुपर स्ट्रक्चर है, वो भी मेरा है. वो that culture still needs to come, and I want to be honest, and I might be sounding so provocative, but हमारे में वो mindset नहीं है.
In our last podcast, we spoke about the must-haves within the house. I think as important are those amenities that a builder gives you, and they love to advertise it. 30 plus amenities, 2 pools, you have clubs. Tell me brass tacks, in reality, everyday living mein, how important are these amenities? Are they even relevant? Or do they get used? Scene kya hai inka?
See, sale to an end user is all about storytelling. Whether you are selling your flat to the end user or the builder is.
Yeah.
The pitch is always drawn with the end user in mind. End user is emotional. They tend to envisage and imagine themselves using the pool है तो अगला समझते हैं हम तैर रहे हैं उसमें. बारबेक्यू स्टेशन है तो पनीर सेक रहे हैं, चिकन सेक रहे हैं, अगले सब खेल रहे हैं. चिल्ड्रंस प्ले एरिया में हमारे बच्चे स्लाइड से गुजर रहे हैं, सीसॉ से. सो it is about storytelling, right? You need to get into their mind and tell them that I am giving you not a home, I am giving you a enhanced lifestyle.
Yeah.
तो वो खुश हो जाता है उस वजह से, by virtue of that वो खरीदता है. This is typically like any other business, any other retail trade, right? आप कपड़े की दुकान में जाते हो और अगर उसने सारी लाइटें बंद रखी है ना, that साड़ी, that outfit, that the clothes you're buying may not look as exciting as they otherwise look with these stylish lights on and larger than life infrastructure, the store design and the oomph around it, the height, the music is going on. Everything collectively builds up for you to buy that outfit, which may not have necessarily been the spec you wanted when you actually entered the store. They enhance the beauty, the aura, or for that matter, even the functionality of the product in your mind as a buyer. And that entices you to buy. The brochure, the thought process, tweak करने के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी होता है. And ये 40 amenities, 50 amenities, हो सकता है कि 40, 50 amenities. You can't call some small spot which is having some kind of flower gardens, hibiscus garden amenity. What do you mean hibiscus garden amenity? So ठीक है, but it sounds good. As a buyer, I would love to hear that मेरे project में ये सब है. So it works for you as well. Amenities as a
Investor,
it works now because you are exactly what a developer is. Eventually, you are buying to sell.
yeah, but do you focus when you are investing in something? Is this something that you look for?
See, I will tell you as an investor, I will tell you one very important thing in terms of addressing this amenities story. If you want to cash on this story to create hype around what you're investing in, yes, you will get value add for it, provided you are in a position to sell the product as soon as it's ready in very short course. The dark side of this entire sweet storytelling is kai baar, most of the times, the societies once this building is handed over are not capable of maintaining it the same way a developer would. Because developer अपनी जान लगा देता है ये amenities maintain करने को because he has inventory to sell. Right? So he will make sure all of it. What does he do? He shows them the flat, then comes down, shows them the amenities. Even in a ready to move in, when the amenities are seen, being utilized and maintained, it lures the end user. But let us assume we bought something, everything is fabulous, and then after that the developer finished his story, did the conveyance in the name of the society and left. And then what happens? The society maintains it. Who has the time? Who has the energy? Haven't you ever come across the crude fact that the society for maintenance struggles to find a managing committee. Struggles, कौन बल्ब चेंज करे, कौन पानी में फिल्ट्रेशन प्लांट की हैंडलिंग करे, कौन वो लाइफ गार्ड को देखे, कौन वो टेबल टेनिस के रैकेट और बॉल का हिसाब रखे. इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट. बिल्डर का तो पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट है ना, ये छोटे खर्चों के सामने उसको अपना बड़ा सामान बेचना है. वंस ही गोज अवे इट बिकम्स वेरी 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 डिफिकल्ट. एज एन इन्वेस्टर, एज अ यूजर, आई वुड लव टू हैव ऑल द amenities really, and I would be very proactive to maintain them as well. For me and for my entire community, it is there. You would find volunteers eventually. आ जाते हैं. अभी we are in a more mature environment. आ जाते हैं maintain करने को. But by and large, why stake your money as an investor? आपने तो उधर रहना नहीं है. You make sure that if you get into such a project, you have your timely exit while the developer is exiting. Don't take a chance to wait and let the project. I have classic examples in Bombay and Pune where the projects have gone to the dogs as far as the amenities go. So it's a strict no-no. And coming back to Bandra Khat, Santa Cruz, all of the way to Andheri, very few projects, very, very, very few projects are large enough to accommodate all these amenities. Having said that, standard projects which are standalone suite boutique buildings which are part and parcel of daily living of Bandra, Santa Cruz, Andheri Zoo, these are having basic amenities like a society room, like a terrace garden, like small pergolas on the terrace where you could have sweet interactive sessions with the society members and optimize it for anything starting from yoga to children playing up there. You have got a modest gym. उसमें एक आधा दो treadmill होता है, थोड़ा weights, maybe a cycle out there. So at least if not anything else, आप नीचे जाके वो whatever सब कर सकते हो. इसके ऊपर कुछ होता नहीं है. Some of these small boutique buildings are being started having pools. Since there are small number of members available over there, it's easier to maintain. But when had you last seen someone wearing a swimming trunk or a swimming costume jumping into that pool? Never. Yeah. Never. It's not the case. It's just again a pompous quotient. हाथी खरीदना बहुत आसान है, महंगा होता है पर बहुत आसान है. हमारी हाथी को तो बैंक भी फंड कर देती है, राइट? आई हैव ऑलवेज टोल्ड हर. बट उस हाथी के गन्ने के लिए बैंक आपको उधारी नहीं देगी. वो गन्ना आपको खुद लाना है और उसे मेंटेन भी करना है. सो इट्स वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू डू इट. दिस इज माय पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस. हमारे कल्चर में अभी भी वो लेवल ऑफ सेल्फलेसनेस एज मेंबर्स नहीं आया है. हम तो, लेट मी बी कर्ट ऑनेस्ट, हम तो वो कम्युनिटी है जो अपना घर साफ रखने के लिए कचरा उठा के विंडो के बाहर फेंक देते हैं. जस्ट yesterday I was walking down the compound in my own building where I'm staying right now. वो अपना छज्जा साफ कर रहा था, कोई पानी डाल दिया, पूरा मैं भीग गया. मैं नीचे खड़ा हूँ. There is my German car, my coveted German car, which I love, and make sure that when it's on the road एक single scratch नहीं पड़े. और उसमें वो सब वो छज्जे का जो all the crochet and the bird droppings, ये वो सब उसने साफ करके मेरी गाड़ी में डाल दिया. उसको पड़ी नहीं है कि शाम को 7 बजे मैं घर धोई हूँ तो कोई नीचे जा रहा होगा. मतलब वी आर डीलिंग विद सच काइंड ऑफ पीपल. अब क्या लगता है आपको सच अ सिचुएशन में क्या मेंटेनेंस होगी? सो I would not really, as an investor in real estate who's intending to flip his property. Remember, all our podcast is purely how to trade these markets. I'm not educating you to stay in such a project. I'm not advocating how to buy a home. I'm advocating that while you're doing your core businesses, do this on the sidelines of the trade. And in such a situation, do not become too bold. कि आज वो जो स्विमिंग पूल बिल्डर पॉम्पसली अपने ब्रोशर में डाल के आपको जगह चिपका रहा है, आपका जब टाइम आए वो एक कीचड़ बड़ा लोटस पॉन्ड नहीं बन जाए. यू कैन नॉट डू दैट, राइट? एंड यू नो सूप. अगर वो नीचे कंपाउंड में आते ही उसने वो स्विमिंग पूल कन्वर्टेड इनटू लोटस पॉन्ड देख लिया, या पानी नहीं है अंदर, या इट्स स्टिंकिंग, तो इट्स ओवर बॉस. वो आपके फ्लैट में नहीं जाएगा. सो व्हाई टेक दैट चांस ओनली यार? अपनी मॉडेस्ट स्टोरी मॉडेस्टली बेच के रुपए का सवा करके आप निकलने का प्लान.
Yeah, but tell us some amenities that you would definitely आप मतलब you will not be optimistic about. जैसे कि आपने अभी पूल बोला, और एग्जांपल्स दीजिए.
स्विमिंग पूल इज अ स्ट्रिक्ट नो. ऑडिटोरियम्स कहते हैं ना, वो कम्युनिटी लिविंग का स्टाइलिश सिंगल सीटर सोफास बना के मूवी रूम्स बना दिया है, वो बिल्कुल नहीं मेंटेन होते हैं.
हाँ.
वो गंद हो जाता है, दे स्टार्ट स्टिंकिंग इवेंचुअली. बिल्कुल नहीं. बाय एंड लार्ज वेरी ह्यूज गार्डन एरियाज, यू नो, वहाँ पर ट्रीज प्लांट्स मेंटेन करना वेरी डिफिकल्ट. आई एम ऑल्सो नॉट एन एडवोकेट. आई लव ग्रीनरी. आई लव ग्रीनरी अराउंड मी and I crave for it every morning, and hence I go to work out in parks and grounds and the sea face. But no green walls. There is sitting duck to mosquito breeding in our areas. Like I said, you know, we still need to graduate to the fact that जिस फ्लैट में मैं रह रहा हूँ वो मेरा है, लेकिन इसके अराउंड जो कंपाउंड है, जो बिल्डिंग है, जो सुपरस्ट्रक्चर है, वो भी मेरा है. वो that culture still needs to come, and I want to be honest, and I might be sounding so provocative, but हमारे में वो माइंडसेट नहीं है. यही आदमी जब कुछ टाइम के लिए अब्रॉड जाता है, he is so crisp, he is better than the locals there. You know, चाहे वो सिग्नल फॉलो करना हो, चाहे वो कचरे की मैनेजमेंट हो, या यू नो एटिकेट हो. जो आदमी आपके साथ लिफ्ट उतरने के टाइम पे गुड मॉर्निंग तक नहीं बोलता है, सर, एक ही लिफ्ट में उस क्यूबिकल ऑफ 4x4 या 3x3 या 2x2 की क्यूबिकल में कोई एक दूसरे को गुड मॉर्निंग नहीं बोलता है. यहाँ पर वो मिलके कम्युनिटी की तरह वो मेंटेनेंस करेंगे वो अमेनिटीज का. इम्पॉसिबल. मतलब सॉरी नहीं बोलते पानी फेंकने के बाद, तो फिर आप क्या समझते हो? यू नो, सो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एज अ ट्रेडर ऑफ रियल एस्टेट, प्लीज स्टे अवे फ्रॉम दिस स्टिंक.
What about the amenities that you propagate?
A gym is okay. A gym is nice. It sounds good क्योंकि थोड़ा थोड़ा सबको कुछ चाहिए. A terrace is not difficult to maintain. If the developer, which most of them do right now in these boutique buildings, they give a little area where, you know, you can use it to have your house parties. If there's a bathroom on the terrace, and you know, थोड़ा ग्रीन एरिया हो जो इजीली मेंटेनेबल हो, परगोलाज हो जो आप बैठ सकते हो, बरसातों में धूप में बैठ सकते हो, एंड यू नो एक दूसरे के साथ वार्ता कर सकते हो, गुफ्तगू कर सकते हो, कॉल योर फ्रेंड्स ओवर, डू अ योगा क्लास. यू नो, ऑल ऑफ दैट is understandable, and I advocate that. अगर वो भी नहीं है तो stay away from those projects. That means वो builder को कोई इच्छा ही नहीं है प्रोडक्ट बनाने की. You know, he has to throw in goodies if he intends to sell his flat for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 जो भी है. When the area I'm talking about is from Bandra to Borivali, for me, I always advocate that area, but not that others are not good. But wherever you want to go, the builder has to have a sweet, a slightly larger than life approach to his project as if he's going to stay there as his very own. तो वो बहुत ज़रूरी होता है.
What about the size of lifts?
So coming back to SOS scenario where, you know, these are all some things which we need to save our lives. Like, you know, अगर lift नहीं होगी तो आप ऊपर ही नहीं जा सकते. तो लिफ्ट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ब्रांड्स लिफ्ट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वी हैव सम वेरी गुड लोकल ब्रांड्स, यू नो, उनकी मेंटेनेंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आई डोंट नो व्हाई जनरली पीपल डोंट आस्क कि लिफ्ट्स का ब्रांड क्या है. ये क्वेश्चन मैंने कभी नहीं सुना अपने करियर में, बहुत रेयरली. इफ आई हैव समवन हुज आस्क्ड मी व्हिच ब्रांड इज द लिफ्ट, the likes of Mitsubishi and all are fabulous. They come very expensive but soundless, very good speed elevators, absolutely maintenance free. Right, we have the likes of German lifts like Schindler. We have a good brand called Kone. We have got mass producing lifts like Johnson. Very good lifts. But what quality, what speed, what size is the lift? Imagine a death in the house. Imagine a health failure in the house. Someone needs to, in an emergency, be taken somewhere. आप 10वें 8वें माले पे हो, आप थोड़ी गोद में बिठा के उनको लेके जा सकते हो. No one asks whether there are stretcher lifts in the building. How? It's so difficult. Death is inevitable. We've all faced it sometime or the other in terms of coping with a relative, a family member's death.
But explain what is a stretcher lift and how is it different than a regular lift?
So the size of the lift basically generally we only see in terms of वो बोर्ड लगा होता है 6 people capacity, 8 people, 10 people, इतना किलो capacity. But how deep is it? Can it accommodate someone on a stretcher होलिस्टिकली इंसान, if you go to a hospital वो सारे स्ट्रेचरलेस होते हैं, वो स्ट्रेचर लेके पेशेंट को अंदर ले जाते हैं, वो लिफ्ट में समा जाना चाहिए. The lobbies should be compliant enough to allow that stretcher to move around so that the journey from the higher floors all the way to the ambulance in an SOS situation or death for that matter is graceful, is merciful, and is possible above all. भाई आप एंड में देख 10 करोड़ का फ्लैट लेते हो और किसी मुर्दे आदमी को घड़ी करके उसमें लेके जाना पड़े तो कैसा चलेगा? यू माइट एज वेल अवॉइड. क्या फायदा फिर ये सब पैसे खर्चे करने का इफ देयर इज नो थॉट प्रोसेस in terms of conceptualization of such eventualities which are an obvious fact. मरना तो हम सबको है. तो अगर वो बिल्डिंग में 20 फ्लैट है, 15 फ्लैट है, 30 फ्लैट है, मौत हर साल एक आधी मौत होना एक आम बात है. That time, if you don't have a stretcher lift, imagine getting down someone from 15 floors down. How will you get them down? You know, the eventuality where today, anyway, we are stuck with infrastructure labs, traffic, this, that and all. Anyway, you're risking life. If I have a heart attack, वो कहते हैं कि वो 10 minutes golden minutes, you know, उस टाइम पे अगर कुछ मिल गया तो the chances of the person dying are much less, ऐसा इंस्टा कहता है. मैं भी मानता हूँ. इंस्टा भी आजकल सब चीज़ों में डराता है. So अगर वो सही है, जो मुझे लगता है वो सही है, then these things help. आपने यूँ उठाया किसी, अगर एम्बुलेंस नहीं आई, स्ट्रेचर नहीं, चादर में उठा के 4 आदमी उनको, you know, in that same position can easily take them in a stretcher, get them out. So it's
But it's rare. I don't think every building has it at all.
I've not seen buildings having it at all. In fact, there are certain buildings which the size of the lift is 3 feet by 3 feet.
Yeah.
2-3 लोगों के ऊपर आ नहीं सकते. And then how do I tackle a situation like this? So
खड़े करके लेके.
बहुत. अब उस टाइम
हाथ पैर टूटा हुआ
जान
है.
बचा रहे हो तो यू नो अगले को आप हार्ट अटैक नहीं तो स्लिप डिस्क से ही मार दोगे उसको. वो प्यार मोहब्बत में उसको यू नो यू वांट टू फिट हिम इन. हमारे सिंधियों में एक कहावत है कि एक पागल फैमिली को बच्चा पैदा हुआ, उसको चूम चूम के ही मार दिया. तो उस वक्त उसको बचाने की जो रंजिश होती है उसमें उल्टा यू मे क्रिएट मोर डैमेज by wanting to fit him or taking him on the steps and ramming him here and there, you know, in that excitement to reach him somewhere or reach her somewhere. So ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि certain infrastructure should become policy in fact.
What about infrastructure for specially abled people?
These
Also not seen everywhere.
No, zero. There is nothing other than the fact that एक हल्का सा रैंप होता है जहाँ से आप,
वो भी लेकिन हर जगह नहीं मिलेगा.
कई दफ़ा यू नो इट इज़ बिकम मैंडेटरी नाउ. कई जगह वो लकड़ी का एक बना देते हैं, दे आर नॉट मेंटेनेबल, बट दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्मॉल थिंग्स एंड दे शुड बी significantly important in making the development plans as well. But I don't know, it's about more about the beneficiaries. वही इतना importance नहीं देते. अगर हर आदमी स्ट्रेचर लिफ्ट मांगने लगे, नहीं तो बॉयकॉट करे फ्लैट लेना, things will be different. The developers will adhere to you and your demands because they are not demands, they are necessities, right? It's as important as having a gas connection, a light connection. It's as important as that. On that fateful day, you would go without light, you would go without gas, but you would not be able to go without the fact that you don't have a stretcher lift and can't get the person down and give him the necessary help he requires at that moment, which will change, make or break the situation.
What about greenery? The developers, when they try to sell it to you, उनके ब्रोशर में आप देख रहे हो कितने सारे ट्रीज होते हैं, कितना कुछ उनका ग्रीनरी पार्ट्स वो लोग दिखाते हैं, जो मे बी एंड में नहीं होता. दैट दोस होल ट्री जोन बिकम्स अ पार्किंग जोन और दे कन्वर्ट इट इनटू समथिंग एल्स.
See, because the infrastructure that is required vis-a-vis the infrastructure that's being provided, that is again in the hands of the beneficiary. वो we only exhaust, you know, उसमें you're pressed for choice. You know, वो डेविल चाहिए कि डीप सी कार पार्किंग चाहिए या ग्रीनरी. वो प्लॉट साइजेस ऐसे हो गए हैं तो आई डोंट वांट टू यू नो पॉइंट फिंगर्स एट हु इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल, बट एज अ ह्यूमन, एज वन ऑफ द इनहैबिटेंट्स ऑफ प्लैनेट अर्थ, वी ऑल शुड एडवोकेट ग्रीनरी. बट ये थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है मेंटेन करने को. द ब्रॉडर साइकी ऑफ पीपल, आई ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड दिस पॉडकास्ट विद दैट. मेंटेनेंस, अगर द ब्रॉडर साइकी ऑफ द पीपल इज देयर, a swimming pool all the way to the green gardens will be maintained, but we still lack that kind of thought process. So we can't blame it on the developer or the product, but as an investor who needs to exit, mere liye it is these may be currently a red flag. I would not want to put in new. Who knows who's going to stay there eventually? Yeah. What if there are two fancy lifts and they choose not to operate one lift? What if there are ACs in the lobby and the society says यार लाइट की बिल बड़ी आती है? कईयों में होता है AC बंद कर दो अरे कईयों में वो सोफा तो लग जाता है पहले आप 3-4 साल तक मस्त बैठ के टांगों पे टांग रख के कुरियर वाले को भी वहीं साइन करके दे रहे हो चाय पिला रहे हो एंड देन फाइनली उसमें छेद हो जाता है और कोई बनाने को तैयार नहीं होता सो मेनी ऑफ देम पर अब छेद होने तक तो छोड़ो वो दाग लग जाते हैं उसमें तो देयर इज नोबडी हु कम्स डाउन एंड वॉलंटियर्स टू get it washed. These days we have so many apps like Urban Clap and things like that. All you need to do is just ping them and they come. But kisko time hai ye sab?
Yeah. Further to that point, modern amenities like a smart home, phone से ये सब करना या a smart lock, वो सब आजकल देते हैं. Does that matter?
It is making our life more and more convenient. The only robotic thing once upon a time we had was the calculator, and then उसके बाद आज तो आप देख ही रहे हो कि aggressively जिंदगी change होती जा रही है. It is a fun and a convenient thing to have a remotely operated system. आप अमेरिका में भी बैठे हुए तो आप घर देख सकते हो, गीजर का कंट्रोल कर सकते हो, AC की रेगुलेशन कर सकते हो. It is a need of the hour. Everything will eventually.
So that's a tick mark for you.
It is necessary to have.
What about centralized AC and all?
Practically, it's not possible. Ductable split central ACs need a lot of height.
Yeah.
You will jeopardize your height. A split is a good option, and you should stick to splits in these projects. When you go to something which is larger than life, the builder is offering you 12, 13, 14 feet height, you may as well compromise a foot for the ducting, etc. Otherwise, central ACs and ductable splits are a little bit of a stretch, because you're compromising the height, and I would not do that, as an investor. Again, not as an end user. As an end user, all that you're saying, starting from the greenery to the pool, to the height, to the split, I want everything, to the ductable splits, to the central AC, I want everything, to smart homes. But as an investor, all that I want to tell you is, are you in a position to cash out on them? Is the end user ready to give you the money that you have invested with your builder while buying with some premium on it? स्मार्ट होम्स किसको बनाना है वो खुद बना लेगा. आप आज उसमें 5-10 लाख लगाओ और आपके एंड यूजर को उसमें वैल्यू नहीं दिख रही है तो आपको रियलाइजेशन नहीं मिलेगी. स्मार्ट होम्स इज नॉट अ चैलेंज. They are operated in a very simple way. Any home can be converted to smart homes these days. So I think rather than putting money into all of these things, have a good basic infrastructure, a warm shell, a solid warm shell, which when you enter inside makes you feel really good. I would rather invest in one of those automated dispensers of perfume to make him feel good, good split ACs, and give him that extra oomph and let him decide what he wants. Why are you taking a call on his smart home? What if you get a guy who's willing to pay you but doesn't want smart amenities? I'm a traditional person. I have analog switches everywhere. And I have two-way switches. So I want a two-way from the main entry, and my bedside has a two-way. And I have recently bought a house. I'm still having a two-way system. So I would not be excited about it. Might be a deal breaker for me. But assuming that I had given an arrangement for a two-way switch and someone wants a smart home, he could put 5 lakh rupees and make his entire 3-bedroom a smart home. So why, as an investor, why do you want to put money in all of that? Why, again, you are reducing the potential buyer list of your database. Why do that?
So when you're investing, practicality over prestige.
Put money into what is important, what you, me, and 1,000 people alike will think, yes, this is basic. Let me use it. And then after that, he doesn't need to break anything. जैसे ही वो अंदर आता है और आपने कुछ बनाया जो उसको नहीं समझ में आता है, वो बोलता है यार इसमें फिर पैसे लगाने पड़ेंगे, अच्छा चीज़ है उसको तोड़ना पड़ेगा, और this is how the end user thinks. So don't. उसके लिए फ्रिज खरीदना, you might feel it's great. उसके लिए वॉशिंग मशीन करना है, उसको फ्रंट लोडिंग चाहिए, आपने टॉप लोडिंग दे दी. Why get into all this? पता नहीं ना कौन सा, and you will lose the client. So basic दे दो, give him a warm shell, what we call in our language warm shell. ज़मीन लगा के दे दो, किचन का ये बना के दे दो, किचन टॉप के साथ. Have good paint all over the place. Make sure that there is enough and lots more than modest amount of switches in the house, and that's it. You're good. Your bathrooms generally come made, so make sure that the tiles and all you regulate with the builder and get something good. Get something that is unanimously acclaimed. Don't go for a very bold kind of outlook or a very subtle kind of outlook.
No niche.
No niche. I would rather, even propose to have a bare shell.
Yeah.
And if the ticket sizes are bigger, if you are investing in something like a 3-bedroom hall, 7-8 crores in Bandra, keep it as a bare shell. Let him make his own house.
Yeah.
So these are the 2 cents on what amenities are all about. I've explained it to you. Please understand that I have with no offense to any of the builders who are responsible today to make us live a life we deserve and even more. We're not against them, not against Greenery, definitely. But as an investor, as a trader, these things are a damper, and you will only reduce your database of potential buyers. That is all. Everything I think about when I buy the property is purely from the exit point of view, and nothing that can shrink the data even by 0.1% should be admissible, is what I say. So this is what I think is mandatory. Stretcher lift is a strict mandatory norm. Without that, I will not ever put money into any project. If it doesn't have a stretcher lift, then he does not fit my bill.
Yeah.
I would want to advocate 9.5+ feet of height internally. When I say this, please don't confuse. It's pure floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
Don't add those slabs and all that. Usme, there are marketing gimmicks who saying, yeah, included, but your top slab, your bottom slab included 6-8 inch clean. Where I'm standing to where the ceiling hits my head, it should be 9.5 feet is very good. 10 is a bonus. 11 is just say yes, because it makes your house look bigger. And these are important core amenities which you should not compromise upon. And rest is okay. Don't ever think you're going to buy this property and start falling in love with it.
Yeah.
It's only marriage which allows you to be diligent, religious for an entire lifetime. These are trade-offs. You buy today only to sell tomorrow.
So take all these amenities that the builder promises with a pinch of salt, basically.
Yeah. Don't give them any credit for that. At least as an investor, don't give them
That
any
is half
credit.
the job done. Maintaining it is the main part.
So on that note, this is the end of the entire journey we had in the prior podcast, where we talked about floor plans, Vastu. We also talked about numerology, and now we went broadly into the outside periphery of our projects, spoke about them as investors, as how we would want to visualize what an investor needs to flip his property. And if you follow this, I think you're good. The exit will be good. You will not lose any money on creating any oomph by attracting a few people and repelling a few people. So keep that in mind, and only then get your property. On that note, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For asking me these relevant questions, which have made me reach the end of how do you judiciously identify the infrastructure of your project to be a better seller. Yeah. Thank you so much.